everybody. Welcome to the Hallmarkies podcast. We're really excited today to have another one of our Hall Star interviews for this weekend's upcoming movie. We have Nathan Witte today here. We're here to talk with him about My Best Friend's Bouquet coming up this weekend and his other roles for Hallmark. And I'm film critic Rachel Wagner, and Anna's here.
Hi, everybody.
And Nathan, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. This is fantastic.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you. So how have you been doing? This has been such a crazy, intense last, 6-7 months. And we've been talking to everybody about how did you get through the quarantine kind of period? What was it like for you?
I definitely had a different experience than probably most people. What a lot of people don't know, but I was actually working in a corporate setting at the time, and I was working for a legal licensed cannabis producer here in Vancouver. Mm-hmm. And just as they let me go in June, the end of June, the next day, I got an offer from my agent for the lead role in My Best Friend's Bouquet.
No way.
Yeah, it was very serendipitous and kind of like, praising and sending my blessings, saying thank you, because it's just kind of the universe has its way of unfolding in the most beautiful and mysterious ways. So I was very thankful for that.
That's crazy. So you didn't really have hardly any quarantine at all.
No, I mean, I was working from home the entire time. So my girlfriend had been laid off as well. So she was keeping us both going by bringing me lunch and breakfast so that I could power on through during those first few months, which were pretty weird and difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really weird for all of us too. I mean, thank goodness we had the podcast. Otherwise, I don't know how I would have gotten through it. But yeah, it was pretty intense. Did you do any quarantine baking or crafts or anything fun like that?
No, actually, the one thing that I did do, my girlfriend did all the baking, but I started to work out a lot more, and I was doing a lot more chin-ups. I have a chin-up bar, and so I've had it there for years, but it wasn't until COVID that I was like, not one day I'm not going by without using that thing. And so I actually watched the shape of my body change for the first time, I think, in my entire life during COVID. So I was working out a lot more. Nice.
So COVID was really good to you.
Yeah, I try to find the silver linings in life.
That's good. That's great. So what first inspired you to get into acting, to become an actor?
Not knowing what I was going to do with the rest of my life at like age 17. I had a very big inkling that post-secondary wasn't my thing. I had a tough time in school as it was, and I didn't know which way to go, even if I was to go to post-secondary school. And then one day it just hit me. I was watching the behind the scenes of Underworld with Kate Beckinsale, and I was just kind of sitting, and then it just hit me one day. I was like, wow, like she looks like she's having a lot of fun. And it was the first time that it actually resonated with me that this was a job. Like people got paid to do this, even though when I was like 14, I was doing extra work. And back then I was a kid, I was going to school. I didn't know, I thought I was just hanging out, eating free food. And so when I saw that, I was like, I want to do that, because if they're having that much fun, I can have that much fun. Then I can be a lawyer, I can be a cop, I could be a criminal, I could be everything by choosing one thing. So that was a big factor in my choice.
I like that. I never thought about acting like that. Like it's one thing, but you get to act and be all these different things, and that's a really cool thing to do.
Yeah, who knew that Underworld would be so inspiring? I had no idea. That's great.
I know. It feels kind of weird to say it like this is the Underworld, but that's just what happened. It just clicked at that point. And it was something inside that nobody could tell me otherwise. No matter how many people were like, oh, how's acting? Well, how's that going for you? There was just something inside deeper that I was like, it's great because I'm following what feels good.
Mm-hmm. Were people in your life pretty supportive of that, or were they like, it's pretty tough. Do something else.
Definitely pretty tough. I mean, when I first left Calgary, where I'm from, at like 18, 19, all my friends, they threw me a huge going away party, and they tried to get me as incomprehensible and intoxicated as possible, with the idea that I wouldn't be able to get up the next day to drive out. And sure enough, I got up and made sure I left, and they had bets that I would return back. So my friends definitely didn't believe in me. But my family certainly did, once they realized that I was committed and not turning back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they probably come around since seeing you in all these roles.
I've been kind of against the grain kind of personality for the most of my life. So for me to make a choice like as brazen as becoming an actor, it wasn't almost unexpected for a lot of people who really know me. They were like, oh, I could see. I was kind of always grew up as the class clown as well. And I like to charm and make people laugh. And so when people heard it, they were kind of like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever act as a child? You said you did extra work. Did you ever like do the school plays and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, certainly did. And one of actually my very first roles ever, I think, was on stage in grade 7, and it was called the Christmas Extravaganza.
No way.
And I played a female English teacher with blonde hair in a purple dress. And that just kind of goes to show even at an early stage and phase in my life that I didn't really care what people thought of me. And that meant like literally going on stage in front of the entire school wearing a dress and a female wig. And then people loved it. They enjoyed it. Yeah. But even then I didn't realize I was acting. I was just having fun.
You're prepping for doing all these Christmas movies.
Yeah.
Way back then. Christmas Extravaganza. I think that you need to make that into a Lifetime movie or Hallmark movie.
We're probably inspiring some ideas right now.
Yeah, that's right.
Picturing me in a wig.
Just make sure that y'all hire Nathan. That would only be right. To star in Christmas Extravaganza. That's great. Do you remember the first role that you ever got? What that was like?
Yeah. The first role that I ever booked was here in Vancouver, professional, very, very green. It was an indie project called Finder of Lost Children. Ricardo Ciprio was the director. And that was very interesting. It was a film, or it is a film that goes into the life of the Caribbean, Canadian Caribbean demographic of people. And there's this underlining theme where the men in the Caribbean lifestyle just kind of roam about and they don't stay in one place. They don't stay with one mate, and they just sort of propagate and plant their seeds all over the place. And so this film was a narrative into that, where this family comes together as their father figure has died, and now all these siblings are starting to uncover who each other are at the funeral and stuff like that. And I was a little bit over my head in that film. There was a huge monologue I had to do. I couldn't remember it. And they ended up, I watched the movie and it's not in the final edit. So I was like, yeah, I was a little bit over my head. And then after that, actually not too long after, I booked my first lead in a movie called Gutterballs, which is a pretty graphic film. And we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Yeah. But did you have like your, that thing you do kind of freak out moment when you first got those roles, that this might actually be something you could do?
Yeah, most definitely. And fortunate enough for me, unlike a lot of actors who get into the business, you don't really see success right off the top. And I mean, even though I booked that role right away, it wasn't a paid role. I think because it was in India, even if it was, I think it was like $50 or something like that. But it was confirmation that the choice I made was going in the right path, because I was already receiving the confirmation that that people appreciate what I'm putting forward, and then getting the lead role, and then and some commercials in there. So I feel very blessed that as soon as I moved out here, I started booking.
That's great. That must have been so exciting. So your first role in a Hallmark movie was in 2014 with June and January, at least according to IMDb, that I could find out.
Yeah.
And so what was that like being in your first Hallmark movie?
Great. It was nice to finally break into the Hallmark world. I was still very kind of green, still new, trying to figure out where my place is on set. But it was a very open and easy set to work with, and it was a nice confirmation, because I remember what I remember the most about that was the amount of preparation and work I put into the audition, taking that audition into my scene study class and using the audition as my scene study to just really just give it my everything. And I mean, I show up in the audition in a full tuxedo suit and giving myself work to do, putting on ties and stuff like that. I really wanted to show that I was invested in the role, and it was very comforting and exciting to know that hard work paid off in the end.
That's great. That's great. So what is it like being in these sort of made for TV movies? I know that they're pretty intense. They shoot pretty quick. And what's that experience like?
It's a challenging experience, but it's also a very educating experience for me. I feel like doing these types of projects really ups my game and steps up the caliber that I can perform at, because especially just going to auditions every day, every other week, and then doing a project, like they're writing these projects in 2 weeks, then they're shooting them in 2 weeks, then the post-production is in like 4 weeks, and then you're watching this movie and you only shot it a month and a half ago. So it's pretty unbelievable that Hallmark can dish out as many projects as they can. But it takes a lot of mental energy and focus to make sure that on point, because Hallmark doesn't give you a lot of opportunity for redos, because we got to on to the next. They almost shoot it kind of like a TV style, where it's just 1-2 takes, move on. And so having what I guess one of the biggest takeaways from that for me is getting myself so prepared enough that I can come in there, and I would like to do my best to get it in the first take. And sometimes that's not in maybe the right direction of the script, but it's the choice that I want to make. And then I get it out in the first take, and then we can start doing something else in take 2 or 3. And then that's up to the director and the rest of the production, but at least they have the one piece that I want to give them. So it taught me how to really come prepared and ready to execute when the time's asked.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that would be pretty overwhelming, but exciting too.
Yeah, it can definitely be overwhelming, especially when they're changing things on the fly.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsors for this episode of the podcast. They are the good folks over at Care Of, and they've been a sponsor for us for quite a little while, and we're very grateful to them. And they have high quality products, meets personalization. I think that's what makes them special. And all of Care Of's products are formulated with good for you, clean ingredients that are backed by science. And they are super transparent about the research and sourcing behind all of their products. And you get individualized recommendations that come in daily individual wrapped packets that are perfect for getting back into a routine. We all are sort of struggling with that right now, and you have even has your name on it. They're very individualized, and the way that they become individualized is they start you off with you taking their 5-minute online quiz. And this quiz, it asks you about your lifestyle, your belief in vitamins, how you feel about that, your lifestyle, your skepticism, your health concerns, all that stuff are taken into effect. And then you are given with your recommendations for what you should be taking. And that's very, very helpful. And you can adjust your pack at any time. It's like having a one-on-one consultation with a nutritionist, all without leaving your house. And I know when I took the quiz, I was able to narrow down to my sleep needs as being my highest priority. So I was able to get some of the Dream Team on the go quick sticks, and those have melatonin as well as other properties that are good for helping you to sleep. And they've been great. It's a wonderful service that they offer and makes things quick and easy. You can have it delivered. You can have it on a regular basis, or you can individually order your vitamins. Important for all of us right now with fall coming on that we fall back into a healthy routine. As the season changes, it's important to get ahead of taking care of your immune health. It takes about 30 days for your body to adapt to new nutrients. So now is a great time to update your vitamin and wellness routines to help support your immune system this fall. Caregiver's products go beyond vitamins and supplements to include protein powders and boosts to help supplement your workouts as you move indoors in the colder months. So you will really find it helpful. For 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com, enter code Hallmarkies50. That's new code. So go to takecareof.com, enter code Hallmarkies50. It'll be great for you. You'll really love it. And thanks so much.
Mm-hmm.
One of the roles that I have seen you in, because I'm a fan of a lot of CW shows, one of which is Charmed. And so I have to ask, because you like Underworld, is sci-fi like a genre you really like?
Yeah, it is something I really like. So much that because I was watching Underworld is because I really enjoyed the vampire fantasy. And so much so when I was trying to figure out what I was going to be for the rest of my life, being a vampire was like on that list. And I'm like, do they even make money? But how? I mean, they all seem to just be living though. Right. So I just really, and then I was like, no, wait a minute. No, I have to play to be one. Okay. Right. And so, yeah, I'm really enjoying, or did enjoy season 2, playing a demon, playing that sort of meddler in the background.
Did you ever get to work with like CGI stuff or something like that?
Yeah, that's definitely a new thing for me, is playing with CGI and magic and having, fire come out of my hands and controlling people. The funny thing is that the one thing I do have to remember is that sound effects is something that happens in post-production. So I come from just a large imagination growing up. I could play by myself for hours. And so I'm literally going on set, and so the director's like, no, Nathan, but we appreciate what you're doing there, but that's all for post sound. I'm having fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Vancouver has so many, you have a CW world, the Hallmark world. I mean, it's such a great area to be, because there's so much, so much opportunity for actors. And then I guess you were also on Batwoman. I haven't watched that one yet, but I do want to watch it. And what's that like, being in part of the superhero world?
That's super cool to be on in the superhero world, and to actually have a role, a notary role, something I can be proud of, is truly something I'm very blessed to have a part of my resume. And the cool and unique thing about it, because it is the DC world, it is this comic book world that is so competitive right now, that on set they're very, very tight knit when it comes to putting out certain information. And so much so that I was even restricted of knowing the arc of my character before it came into fruition. So I had no idea who I was going to be until about the 3rd or 4th episode of shooting. And that goes for the directors as well. So that was a challenge for me, to portray a character and not really know who I am.
Yeah, and I can see that would be difficult.
Yeah. But, what's it like being on one of those kinds of sets for that kind of thing? It must be pretty amazing to see them build like a whole world.
It is amazing. And like for Charmed, very intimidating. I'm kind of happy I was able to attain the role at the best part of my career than a little bit sooner, because it would be very scary and very, I mean, when I was shooting Charmed, my opening scene is a 3-page monologue. They've built this elaborate giant club scene on a sound stage. We've got like 200 extras. There's 100 or 200 crew members. They've got 3 cameras. One's like coming in and out on a crane. They've got 2 other ones watching me, and I'm on like this pedestal with all these lights, and I'm communicating to everybody. And 5 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh my God, like what am I going to do? But now I was like, oh yeah, this is exciting. I even had other actors come up to me on set, go, oh, you're saying all those lines? Like, well, I'm happy that's you and not me. I'm like, really? I'm like, this is what we live for. So that one was very cool in that regard to do that. And then on Batwoman, it was a bucket list for me because I've always wanted to shoot on a major film production that had to block off a part of the city. And we get to shoot this motorcycle scene where Batwoman gets to essentially take me off a motorcycle, and we're downtown Vancouver. It's 1 a.m. and we're shooting on a major street. And so I was like, oh, this is exactly what I envisioned in my life. And then getting my ass beat up by, or my butt beat up by Batwoman is definitely a notable fun point in my career.
Did you actually do your own stunts?
Yes and no. I did not ride the motorcycle. That's a touchy subject, especially here in Vancouver, and that's definitely a special skill. But falling off the motorcycle and then having her throw me around was definitely real.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Awesome. Yeah, you won't forget that.
Definitely not.
That's great. So that's really fun. So with Merry Little Christmas Wedding coming up on Lifetime, you were not on the first one, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. I was not.
Okay. This is their first sequel they've ever done on Lifetime, which is amazing, I thought. Mm-hmm. And they must have been fun. I mean, we've interviewed Jamie Calica fairly recently, and he's awesome. And it just seems like a really fun group of people to be around.
It was a true highlight of my career to have been able to work again next Jamie Calica, Thomas Cadro, but to have, the opportunity to meet Kelly Rowland was super amazing. Growing up, I remember being in high school and listening to her music, high school dances, junior high school dances, and to meet this iconic woman, individual in the flesh, and how down to earth and real and respectful. I mean, the first thing she said to me was at the fitting, and hey, Nathan, do you mind if I'm here at your fitting? You're asking me? I was like, well, yeah, for sure. Of course. And that was just a great way. She just set the tone for the entire film after that, just by that simple consideration. And everybody on set was just a blast to be around and work with. And I feel very blessed to come and be a part of the sequel as a love interest for one of the other lead characters.
That's great. The original was pretty strong in the comedy, as far as things like physical comedy that you don't always see in these rom-coms. And I don't know if this one will be, but is that kind of hard, challenging to try to play that funny character, those funny scenes?
For me, I prefer it. I have a lot of fun doing comedy, and I kind of believe if Vancouver had more comedic opportunities in either shows or movies, I might do a little bit more work. I seem to just have a natural act to make people laugh. So it was not as difficult for me to do that on this set. And then everybody was just so chill and down to earth, and everyone can make fun of themselves. Nothing was too serious. And we could improv on set between takes and within takes to allow that freedom to come out, allow the characters to come out. So you're definitely going to get a sequel that should be on par, if not beyond what they gave you in the first one.
Yeah, because they always give all the awards, to the tearjerker, dramatic performances, but I mean, it's equally hard, if not harder, to make people laugh, to be really funny.
Yeah, because you got to be able to find the truth and the seriousness in it enough that those who are outside looking in can find it funny. But if you play the joke, it's gone.
Yeah. Well, that'll be fun. We're really looking forward to that. So Then we have your new movie coming up, My Best Friend's Bouquet, which we're all really looking forward to. Shaylee Rose, who we talked to last year on the podcast, love her. And why don't you tell us a little bit about the movie?
For sure. My Best Friend's Bouquet is kind of, in one sentence or not, is like looking for love in all the wrong places. And it's a different Hallmark movie, at least I think so, than a few of the ones I've been in, or at least some other ones I've seen. Basically, because it goes a little deeper into the characters' lives, and not just the main characters, but also their friends, and really gives a nice, rounded world, and which I think gives the script some depth, and then allows this to actually come across as like a real world situation. And Alex and Shaylee and their group of friends have been friends in college for many years, and so they've created this wonderful bond. And Alex cherishes this relationship between all of the friends, including Josie, which Shaylee Rose plays, and he doesn't want to jeopardize that, even though he has these extra feelings for her. And he's really trying to navigate that arena without destroying his friendship, which he cherishes most. But he also doesn't want to be that guy that doesn't give it a shot, and that so nice guys finish last thing. And so there's this great juxtaposition of Shaylee being very clueless that her best friend is totally into her and giving her all the clues, and then Alex doing it in such a subtle way that I think gives him maturity, but also gives him a backbone. Like, he doesn't, I really like the script that Alex just wasn't a mat. He just wasn't just, pining over her and then sulking, pining and then sulking. He was pining, but then also coming to truth within himself and recognizing, what's really important with himself and with Shaylee. And then you kind of discover that in the movie.
That sounds really fun. I love the friends to lovers trope when it's done right. You're right. It can be kind of like, oh, you're being like, you're not a strong enough character. You're just a doormat kind of character. Mm-hmm. But when it's done right, it can just be so sweet and fun. So
yeah, and I really wanted to do that. I wanted to, bring some depth to Alex. Mm-hmm.
And it seems like the story has like a little bit of whimsy to it, with the whole like magic of the bouquet and all that.
Yes, it does.
Very big deal about the bouquet.
Yeah, so there is a lore of sorts about the bouquet, and so that's essentially what gets Josie on this sort of tirade of wanting to find the most perfect man, perfect situation. And it all essentially stems from this lore around the bouquet, and it's always been true for her of how this bouquet lands in the laps of certain brides to be, and she's convinced that that's the truth, and she finds out otherwise in the movie.
I was following you guys on social media. I just kept seeing pictures of you guys, and it seemed like this cast really bonded and just had like a really fun time shooting this movie. And I just wanted to know what that experience was like, especially because it does seem more like ensemble, like larger cast, that the side characters get more time in this movie. So what was it like making it and working with Shaylee and everybody else?
Fantastic. It was like a one-in-a-lifetime experience and opportunity, and it starts with the top. It starts with number one on the call sheet, Shaylee Rose, and she's just totally sweet, down-to-earth, funny, doesn't take herself too seriously, and that just set the tone for the entire shoot. Her and I were able to get along right away, and then so for the rest of the cast, when they see the ones and two getting along and having a good time on set, it really drops the guards for everybody. People feel like they can relax and get to know each other. And then we're confined in this bubble because we're one of the first productions outside of COVID to get to work. And we're out in Harrison Hot Springs at this resort. And we're in essence obliged to be hanging around one another because we can't be leaving the bubble. And otherwise you're just sitting in your room by yourself. And we're in an amazing place in Canada.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
It's gorgeous. It's the home of the Sasquatch, and it's just this beautiful lake, and it's hot. And it literally felt we were at summer camp, just all hanging out. And the movie was like this thing that we were doing. So that when they finally shot it, they've got as far as I've been hearing, all of this wonderful chemistry. And basically because we can laugh at ourselves and each other.
Yeah, what was it like shooting in COVID for both movies that you did for Lifetime and Hallmark? What was that experience like?
Weird, and
yeah.
I can't wait for it to be done. It's too much. It's exhausting. It's stressful. And it's very wasteful. It's like Vancouver is like the leading edge for being green, especially on sets. But like COVID, that all went out the window because we've got too many other things to focus on, and everything has to be contained, and everyone has their own utensils, and so every day you're just getting new stuff. And then the constant testing. So it's just a very odd and peculiar world to be in, and I can't wait for it to be over.
Yeah, that's true. But you felt safe? You felt like it was a safe environment for you?
Yes, definitely. The sets, everybody's taking this very seriously. Everybody has bracelets. There's check-ins every morning for temperature checks, and then everyone has to wear bracelets so you're not cross-contaminating departments. Everything is being disinfected. I have a girlfriend who's immune compromised, so I definitely let the sets know about that. And they go up and over beyond to make sure that I feel safe and secure on set. They reassure that everything is being sanitized, right down to pens and pencils before they pass them off to me, and even food and stuff like that. So I really appreciate what the productions are doing so far to make sure that we all stay safe.
Now, I know on Wedding Every Weekend, they were saying that they use like mannequins and things like that to try to keep everybody spaced. And I was just curious, did you see anything also like that, like actually within the film to kind of make things safer for you guys?
No, we didn't use any mannequins in ours. We used real extras in all of them. Made sure that everybody was certainly separated. And then, of course, between every take, masks are on, then masks are off, then masks are on. But no, that's an odd thing. I hope that doesn't become a recurring theme, even when COVID's done, is these mannequins.
Yeah, I guess it was in the wider wedding shots. They had like mannequins at the tables. Yeah. To keep everybody spaced.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's kind of a cheaper alternative. I just really hope that those extras don't lose out a job for a mannequin.
It's true. It's true. Well, so you had in this movie for Hallmark, you had a female director, Jessica Harmon, and she's an actress as well. And so I was wondering, what's that like, working with her and having sort of an actor as a director?
Perfect. I couldn't ask for a more ideal situation. Jessica made that project a breeze. She is this sophisticated captain of a ship that can traverse the set in this poised, nuanced way that is directionally focused, but isn't like stern. She's got this poise. And then when it comes to getting what she needs for herself and for the network, because she is an actress and comes from that background. And then of course she's been around the director, her father's a director as well. So it's like it's in her DNA. Because I was blown away that was her first feature as a director. But her way to communicate to the actor changes the entire way the film can be seen, because she's able to express herself in a way that an actor can hear it. Whereas if a director has either never taken an acting class or is not an actor, it can be difficult to get the actor to change, because if you're like, we just want more of that anger or more of that, for me, that is the worst thing you can say to me on set as a director. It's like, we just want more, and I'm like, more of what? Like, I need specificity. I need to anchor on something, and Jessica is she's a gem. She's brilliant at it.
Well, that's great. Yeah, those George Lucas is famous for. That's all he'll give his actors is just do more of that, more.
Yeah, it's like, what are you talking about?
Right?
Yeah. Very good. I think we are very excited for My Best Friend's Bouquet. I think it's going to be a really cute movie. And so, yeah, we have our fun little holiday questions to end off the interview.
Okay.
All right. Are you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. Favorite holiday drink?
If I had to pick one, when I don't drink anymore, but it would be just like a spiced latte. But if I drink, it would be like a rum and eggnog. That would be like my go-to.
Okay, nice.
Sounds good.
Or amaretto, because amaretto is like not otherworldly.
Okay. Favorite holiday cookie or treat?
Ginger snap cookies.
Ooh, yeah, I love those. This one's hard. Favorite Christmas song?
I just have affinity for drums and bass, I guess, but The Drummer Boy. I've always loved My Little Drummer Boy. I don't know why.
Favorite Christmas movie?
Ooh, famous Christmas movie. Off the top of my head right now, it's just Elf. I've got a couple more, but we definitely watch Elf every year.
Yeah, that's become a staple for people for sure. Favorite holiday tradition?
Favorite holiday tradition? I don't even
Decorating
know.
a tree or making cookies or something like that.
Actually, getting together with friends and family. That is definitely my favorite tradition. That's the one thing that doesn't matter. Every year, I love getting together with the people that I care about.
You can't beat that. Okay, next part is you choose one or the other. So Scrooge or the Grinch?
The Grinch, for sure.
Okay. Clear lights or color?
Clear lights or color?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Color.
Which do you like better?
Color.
Okay.
Build a snowman or snowball fight?
Snowball fight.
Yeah, that's a funner one.
Yeah.
You hear anyone say build a snowman? That's a lot of work.
You need a lot of snow to build a snowman.
Okay, that's true, and a lot of people don't get enough snow. I mean, in Vancouver you do, I'm sure, but us down here we don't get enough snow.
Yeah.
Are you a good gift wrapper or not?
I'm a great gift wrapper. I'm just not a great gift purchaser.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. You know how to wrap it, just not what to buy.
Yeah, I get anxiety. I'm like, I don't know. They'll like that, but they'll like that, or they'll hate that. I have no idea.
It is really hard. I'm not good at it either. And okay, last one. What is your ugliest Christmas sweater?
My ugliest.
Or do you have an ugly Christmas sweater?
I think I might have just given it away, but it was like this V-neck, and it had green and red birds all over it. Yeah. Anytime someone looked at it, they're like, "Oh, you're wearing that." Okay.
I'm like, that's a bold choice.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it, your time.
Yeah, this was a blast. Do you have social media or anything like that you'd like to share?
Yeah, for sure. People can find me on Instagram at Steel Afro. That's 2 E's in Steel. And then also Nathan Witte on Twitter.
Great. We'll have all that in the description section. And so let us know if you're listening. Let us know your thoughts on all the different things we talked about. And we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section or on Twitter. That would be great. And thanks again so much, Nathan. This was a lot of fun. And we hope you have a really wonderful Christmas season and look forward to your 2 upcoming movies.
Yes, thank you so much, Rachel and Anne, and enjoy the movies, My Best Friend's Bouquet, and Merry Little Christmas Wedding, and enjoy your holiday season. Thank you so much.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Bye.